Well, welcome back. Hey, it's Joey T and the Snob. Joey T here to walk through another episode of helping folks get to understand wine and not be intimidated by it. So if you saw in my previous episode, we talked about enjoying wine. And the main message was to drink what you like and like what you drink. So hopefully you're having something right now and enjoying something that you like. But before you can get the wine out of the bottle, we're going to have to get the cork out of the bottle. So what I like to do on this episode is talk about the different corkscrews. I won't hit all of them, but certainly there's some of them here for you to have some fun with. Again, it's wine is fun, and so hopefully you'll even think about that with as you take the cork out. So first thing, I got a bottle of wine here, a 06 Travacolini Gattinera. We'll do a review on that in another episode. But first thing you want to do is get the foil off the top. I have a foil cutter. There's a number of different ways of doing that. Some of your restaurants and sommeliers, they'll have a corkscrew that looks something like this with a knife. I'll talk about that. I prefer this one. It's pretty easy. Just kind of, as you can see, there's some cutters there. Just kind of put it at the top, twist the bottle a little bit, and off comes the foil. So a couple of different wine openers. You'll see these Sharper Image, the Wine Enthusiast, and some of the wine magazines. They'll have these things. Basically, there's an up and down arrow. What you want to do is hit the down arrow. You put it on the bottle, hold the bottle pretty tight, and then push the down arrow, and just keep pushing it, and it'll the worm, as they call it, the little curly Q thing, will go down and pull it right out. And then if you hit the top arrow, will release the cork from the worm. That's the technical term. I like to call it the little curly Q thing. Again, having some fun. Another one is the rabbit. Kind of looks like a rabbit. You basically put the apparatus over the bottle. You're going to have to really hold tight. You push down and pull up, and out pops the cork. Pretty easy. That mechanism does break after a while, and you have to replace the worm, or again the curly Q. So you also be careful. You really have to squeeze tight on the to hold the bottle. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems with the bottle spilling or breaking or whatnot. Again, the other item here is a corkscrew that usually you see in restaurants. I think these things are kind of difficult. Make sure that if you are using it, kind of start it on an angle here. Twist in, get a good grip. Once you start turning down, this item here you can lean on and start to leverage to pull out the wine. Be careful with this one because you can chip the bottle. So just watch how you're doing when you're pulling out the cork. These are called the wing. It's probably one of the first ones I used when I was, your parents probably have these. It's all pretty easy. Start with it so you can see, by pulling up, you can see the worm that pulls out. Again, get it started and then hold tight on the round item. As you start turning, these arms will start to go up. Once it's all the way up, kind of just pull down, and I think you're good to go. The one that I like, I probably have had forever. It's probably my oldest one here, and I love it. Again, it has the worm. They all have the worm. Kind of stick it in there and get it started. This thing goes up at the top, and you just turn. And here's why I really like this one. You just keep turning. Look, it just comes right out. And there you have it. Pretty easy. Just reverse no different than the electric one when you hit the up button. So now we have our corks, and this one is pretty moist all the way down. So what do you do when a sommelier or the waiter presents the cork to you? Well, in the old days, I'm told, that's many years before me, wineries would reuse their corks. And so when you would get a cork, you'd want to make sure that, as you could see on the side, there's the name. In this case, it's Gatner, and it says Travacolini. So you really want to look to make sure that this is the cork, even has the year on this one, 2006, that matches the bottle of wine. You certainly don't want to be drinking a different winery's cork, or wine that had a different winery's cork in the bottle. So that was really one of the reasons. I think you're not going to find that, but you could certainly check. I guess it's fun to check to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to be working. The one thing that you do want to check is that it's moist, and you can see on here that it's been laying on its side, so it's moist. And the reason why you lay the bottles on the side is so that the cork doesn't dry out. If it dries out, it shrinks, and then what happens is you'll start to wine will start to leak along the side. And so that's the other thing. You want to check that the wine is not, now the cork's pretty saturated on this one. You can kind of see it comes all the way down here. It doesn't look like it'll leak through. Once I try it, I'll see if it did, because what happens is the air is getting in and oxidizing, and that's bad, because you want it to oxidize in your glass. So the other thing you want to do is, or you don't want to do, in fact, you don't want to have to smell it. It has nothing, it's all about what I mentioned, checking the label, checking to see if it's been moist, which this is, and to make sure that it's not saturated all the way through. Those are the keys to looking at a cork. So don't be intimidated when the sommelier or the waiter hands you the cork. Show them that you know. It's you check it out. Yeah, it looks good. All right, bring it, baby. Bring the wine. Let me get into the swirling and all the other good stuff. So I'll come back with a wine review on the next session, and I'll have hopefully we'll have the Snob will make a guest appearance, and then we can make fun of the Snob. So again, thanks for joining me. Hit the like button. Joey T signing out from Joey T and the Snob.